Greetings and salutations, internet distance. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we go with another delightful video. This time I'm going to go through the Q Workshop's RPG Starter Kit. I'm playing really loose with the concept of starter kits. It's in my competition with Ted of Nerd Immersion. However, even if I wasn't to count this in my pile of starter sets, and I didn't count any of the Warhammer stuff in my starter sets, my tabletop war game or skirmish games starter sets, and kept straight to just TTRPGs, I am so far ahead of the guy. I'm not even sure if he has just literally given up and just focused on just covering Kobold Press and Wizards Coast news. So I think I won. I beat him, before he even really got started. He accepted the he basically made it a challenge and then gave up shortly after the challenge, I guess. So anyways, this is a fairly delightful box from, as I said, Q Workshop. I believe they're a Polish company, if I remember correctly. Seth Sarkowski has a dice set with them. It's RPG Icons set. This is a fairly nice little small box. Here is my very, very, very well used or overused Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. That's a reference for the size of the box. I'm getting a lot of work out of this. I'm currently in the middle of the process of working out how to build out a replacement core rule set for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or 5e system. This is an all black box. There's a little picture of what's on the back side. This is fairly handy. And let's open it up. Oop. In the inside of the lid, it actually has a diagram of various different styles of dice. It has the modern style D4 and the classic Caltrops D4. And then it has all the other core dice that you will commonly see in a lot of TTRPGs. Let's move on to the next thing. In here, you happen to have a little box of Elven dice. They're actually fairly nice dice overall. It's its own little thing, Obviously, it was meant to be sold on a shelf. It pulls out like yaw, and it's like that. It has the old style Caltrops, and I keep saying it's a Caltrops D4 because honestly, if you drop one, you will know why people call it the Caltrops or a ouch D4. The numbers are actually fairly clear on them. They feel to be like wood. I would have to cut into them to tell if they actually are wood. They are actually quite light, but the numbers are still fairly easy to read overall. Even for me, who has a very mild dyslexia, I could still read those. And I said very mild dyslexia. My dyslexia is largely internal process. I can look at something, it makes sense, but if I try to imagine the number in my head, it will sometimes be backwards, forwards, or upside down, or from the top. Because I kind of have the whole three-dimensional number letter thing going on in my brain. So there you go. It does come in handy, though, because as it's easier to process the concept of stuff from different angles than it is presented to you. However, it complicates stuff. So this dice set, this is a pretty good dice set. I could have done with some extra D4s or something along that line, and it would have been nice if it actually had the modern not the more D4s, but more D6s. And it would be nice if you had the modern D4s as opposed to the classic pain in the foot D4s. But okay. So there you go. That is a fairly nice thing. This box is like $19 if I remember correctly. The next thing is you have this cheap little pen. This is not a pen actually. This is actually a mechanical pencil, which is nice. Some people prefer mechanical pencils over pens. It seems to be pretty good construction. You have a pretty decent eraser on it, a decent size eraser. And you only have one piece of lead inside of it. So, this is like a 99-cent item here. So far, the highlight is the dice. Then you have a little dice bag. This is actually quite nice. It's a little drawstring one. You don't have to go buy Crown Royal to get the bag for your dice. But this is pretty good. It's pretty good, sturdy bag. So that's nice. Then you have this little thing here. This is what's referred to as a level counter, according to the back of the box. Yes. It only goes up to 10. I personally feel that this is a really, really poorly thought out item. And it's actually borderline useless. It actually adds more clutter and waste of time to your players. So this is just magically stupid. This is a waste of material in this box. As I said, it only goes to level 10. It goes from 1 to 10. It doesn't have 0. It doesn't have 11 to 20. A lot of TTRPGs go from level 1 to level 20. Straight up. There's a few OSR TTRPGs that only go from 1 to 10. But, yeah. And then you have this nice little book here. This is a fairly well thought out book. You have some key information on the back side. You have a big blank page. It has points on it, little dots. So it actually is fairly useful for making maps. So if you're the mapper for your party and you're mapping, you have this nice page here to map out. And due to the really high resolution on my video, you can actually see the dots. And then on the other side, you have boxes for information, like treasure, campaign, location, people, information. This is a somewhat useful book. Every single page is the same thing. It has the same piece of information. You go all the way back to the front. This side always has this point map style that's useful for making maps for dungeons. And the back side of it has the campaign and other information on it. And that's repeated every page through this entire book. So you can use this for multiple campaigns. You can record treasure you find on each level of the dungeon and stuff like that. This is quasi-useful for people who don't have my ridiculous level of memory of locations and items. I'm literally like I'm the game master that basically has the ability to literally just remember where my players left off and what they were doing last and what they grabbed and what they did not grab and roll from there. And the only notes I make are literally like writing down the initiative orders and prepping being the monster lists. Because for whatever reason, numbers just don't stick in my brain. On the very bottom of the box, you have a glossary of very common terms. Campaign, character sheet, convention, critical, dice, failure, GM, game master, level, NPC, non-player character, PC, player character, player, RPG role-playing game, session, setting, success, system, and VTT dice. And there you go. Now on to the final part of this little video. My personal thoughts on this is that this is a okay item for new players, but it is in no way, shape, or form a must-buy for players. You can just go to a regular Dollar General and buy a book like this size for a Dollar General or Dollar Tree or something like that. A book this size for $1. This is completely useless and a knickknack that distracts. This is fairly nice to have if you don't have a dice tray like me. And incidentally, most people, when they get into TTRPGs, will go and buy dice trays. That's like one of the fastest purchases right after cards and the core rulebook. So these little dice baggies are, some people, this is not a big baggie to put a lot of dice in. So you're going to outgrow this really fast. This is like a starter. And then you have decent dice in here. So what you're really is buying is the dice. Oh, and you have this pen. Not this pen, mechanical pencil. The mechanical pencil is okay. But really the value in this whole thing is these two things plus the book. The dice are probably the top tier thing. The little baggie is like it's a holdover to help you along to start. You can use the lid as a dice tray. But other than that, most people will rapidly, I'm not joking, a lot of experience with a lot of new players, they will rapidly go past the point of this kit. So this kit is in that magical territory where it's like, this is really cheap. It's like, if I remember correctly, $19. But players will outgrow it really quickly. It doesn't give you a whole lot of really good stuff. The dice, having another set of dice in your pile is nice. Having a little booklet and a little baggie for dice, but you're going to outgrow this bag for your dice pretty quickly. And the booklet is nice, but you can buy just a regular notebook for $1 out of Family Tree or Dollar General or any store of that such. And then they throw in a piece of garbage that doesn't even go to level 20. Like most TTRPGs go to level 20. This does not. So this is like this is a situation where it's basically just manages to be a 3-star. Just manages to be a 3-star. It doesn't go past 3 stars. It's just taps the bottom end of 3 stars. If Cute Workshops sold this kit, if this was sold a little more expensive than $19.99, I'm thinking off the top of my head, I can't even remember what the original price is. This actually starts losing 0.1 off of its stars, or for every $4 over that $19.99 mark. This is just barely worth $19.99. It has some really basic information. If you have like a core rule book or you're buying a TTRPG, typically the information that's in the top and bottom of the lid is what you would already get for your TTRPG. The notebook is not worth a whole lot. The most valuable thing is the dice in there, yeah. The dice basically make up most of the value. Everything else is like just a little bit of filling to pad out the value of the box. But other than that, it's just okay. Just barely okay. So it is handy to have a box that comes with all those things, but you can remove that piece of garbage. You can buy the mechanical pencil and the notebook super cheap. You're going to outgrow the bag in no time, and the dice is the only really great thing that's in the box. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice and a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month, and see you next time.